Hello and welcome to Craft with Sarah and day 16 of the Christmas Craft Countdown, where I'm sharing a brand new Christmas themed project to make with your Cricut every day for 20 days. Today's project is super sparkly. I am covered in glitter, and I think I probably will be right until Christmas because, as you know, as a crafter, once glitter gets in, it never goes away. So today's project is something to hang on your Christmas tree, and it is these beautiful hanging decorations. These have got a folk art style to them, got lots of little pictures making up the pattern inside, and I've cut mine entirely from glitter card, so they're really, really sparkly, and they're double-sided. If you don't have glitter card, or if you don't like using it because it can be a little bit messy sometimes, then don't worry, they still look absolutely beautiful if cut from regular cardstock instead. And it's not just these two designs you'll get in today's download. You get the star, you get the angel, but you also get a Christmas tree to go on your Christmas tree. You get a stocking, and of course, a traditional Christmas bauble shape. So let's get started at making these sparkly, sparkly, glittery Christmas tree ornaments. The files for this project are free for the next 24 hours. Here's how to download them. Register a free ticket for the Christmas Craft Countdown at craftwithsarah.com/Christmas25. After registering, you'll get an email which contains a link to the schedule page for the countdown. Visit the schedule page to find and download today's files. Each download is only available for free for 24 hours after it goes live. If you've missed some, check out the Instant Access Bundle at craftwithsarah.com/Christmas25 bundle, which gives immediate and ongoing access to all of the files from the Christmas Craft Countdown, plus loads of extra bonus designs. Or purchase just the design from this video at craftwithsarah.com/products. To find the designs from this countdown, click into the Occasions filter and choose Christmas. The designs will appear here each day once the free versions have expired. The download comes in a zip folder. You need to unzip this before uploading the SVG files into your cutting machine software. For instructions on how to use the cut files, visit craftwithsarah.com/help and choose Cricut, Silhouette, or Scan and Cut. Within there are dedicated help guides on topics such as how to upload SVGs, how to modify them to make custom projects, framing tips, and how to cut cardstock with your type of machine. If you have any questions, email hello@craftwithsarah.com. Now, on with today's project. Here's what the project looks like when you've uploaded the SVG file into Cricut Design Space. It should load in at 12 by 12 inches when you click the whole design to select all of the ornaments. They all come in as one single SVG file, so you can get them all onto your project in one easy upload. If you click into the group option on the right hand side in your layers panel, you can see each of the different ornaments in there. Alright, so what we're going to do is a little bit of talk about the sizing, and I'll show you the mistake that I made and how you can not make that same mistake. And also we'll take a look at how to make the decorations double-sided, because by default they load in with just one side. Alright, so first we'll click on the whole group and then press the ungroup button, which appears kind of on the bottom of your screen, and that will separate them out, so now you can move each one individually. They all load at slightly different sizes, but it means that when they're cut out, they all look nice and in proportion with each other. And this is the mistake that I made the first time I cut these out, which you'll see when I show how to put them together. So what I did when I cut these out for this video was I made them all the same height. I made them all, I believe it was 5 inches tall. And what I didn't realise was that that meant that some of them would kind of look quite small if they were quite narrow ones, whereas some, particularly this bauble, it made it look absolutely huge. Even though they were all the same height, they didn't look the same size. You'll see what I mean in a minute. So what I did after I cut them out, because I didn't want to have to cut them out all again, but I came back and I edited the file to change the sizes so they're all slightly different to each other now, which means they're going to look much nicer when you cut them out. I also make them a little bit smaller as the original size was slightly too big to go on a Christmas tree, really. So I've done the sizing for you now. These ones should be absolutely fine. But if you want to change the size, here's what you can do to make sure you don't waste all your glitter card like I did on cutting them the wrong size. I mean, it wasn't still wasted. I'm still going to use them even though they are a little bit big. But if you're changing the size, or if you even just want to double check these sizes is definitely what you want. I find sometimes it's a little bit hard to kind of guess on the screen how big something like this is actually going to be in your hand when it's cut out. So what you can do when you've resized is click onto the ornament and open up the layers, and then hover your mouse over the top 2 layers and click the eye that appears to hide them. So you've just got the bottom one left, and you would do that for all of them. So just go in and hide these. Don't worry, you can turn them back on again later. And then one more on this one. And just for now, so that all this happens on the same colour of cardstock, I'm going to change those 2 to be the same white. And then what you can do is cut this, just these shapes, out of some scrap card or just a sheet of card that maybe you've got lots of a particular colour, or some plain white, something that you don't mind wasting, basically. And then you'll know exactly how these are going to appear once you do the whole thing. And I don't think I'm going to be able to get all 5 on one sheet of paper, which is a little bit annoying. But I might be able to if I do that. It might be tight. Click the 3 little dots and move object. Oh, it's going to work. Excellent. Okay, so what I would do then is to cut this from a sheet of just normal paper or card. And then I'll know that if I'm happy with the size, or maybe I'll, want to make the angel a little bit smaller and the bauble a bit bigger. So you can really get your sizes exactly right before you start cutting into your proper card. Another way you can do it, which is even quicker still, is instead of cutting these, change them to a pen layer and then press make again. I'll need to rearrange all that again onto one sheet. But what this would do is it would just draw the shapes onto your paper. So you could use a normal sheet of copy paper from your printer or something like that. And then again, you'll see it in front of you, how big they're all going to be, but it won't have to cut it out. So it's a little bit quicker than doing the cut version, but perhaps not quite as easy to see. I'm going to go ahead and do both of those options, cut it one from my plain white and then do the drawing, and then we'll take a little look. Here's what my 2 different methods of checking the size look like. Now, I still kind of find it easiest to have them actually cut out, although this is pretty helpful to see them all together. This is the one where the Cricut just drew the outlines onto a piece of print paper. I kind of feel like being able to pick them up and move them about gives a little bit of a better indication, but I know a lot of that is just down to me personally not being very good at judging the size of things until I've actually got it in front of me. So you can see these were exactly the same as I cut them out. It just depends on whether you want to use a piece of card to do it, or if you want to draw it, completely up to you. If you're not sure on one of these sizes, you think maybe one of them's a bit too big or a bit too small, and you want to change it and maybe try out a few different options, then there's a nice thing you can do in Design Space to make that super easy. Let's say you want to change one of the sizes after seeing them as the drawing or the simple cut versions. I'm going to use the bauble as a guide. Let's say we want to make it a bit bigger. First, we need to turn on those other layers and then change it back to basic cut. If you changed any of the colours, you can change them back now, but seeing as we're going to do another little test, you could always do that later. It's important to put all the layers back on so that we know everything is changing together. So for example, let's say I am going to make this 4.5 inches tall instead of 4. Then what I could do is hide all the other ones, because this is the only one I've changed, and then do another test cut or drawing of the bottom to double check I'm definitely happy with it. If you're not quite sure what size you want to make, you could try duplicating the layer. But before we do that, let's go into text, and what's this one, 4.5. Add a little bit of text and change it to a pen, and that's not what I wanted. I clicked the font drop down. I wanted this one where it says the A and it says regular. Change it to writing and drag that over here, and then we'll attach by dragging around it and pressing the paperclip icon. That means when this one cuts now, it's going to draw on with a Cricut pen the exact measurement. And then you could duplicate it by clicking the duplicate at the bottom. And then maybe this one is 4.75. So change that one. And then you know, if you're testing out lots of different similar sizes, exactly which one you are going to use when it's all put together. This way, you'll know when you've got them all cut out or drawn onto your test paper, exactly which one that you're going to choose. So you won't be guessing or trying to remember like, oh, was this one the one that was this size? And then trying to measure it with a ruler, and it gets all complicated. By putting the size directly on it and having the Cricut draw it, it means you'll instantly know which one is the one that you want to proceed with. Okay, so I'm going to delete those. Or was that my original one? I think that was my original one. Let's not delete that. I'll detach the text, delete it, and then turn everything back on. Oh, because I attached it, it's all gone white now, but that's fine. We can correct that at the end. These ones have also all gone white. Okay, that's fine. We can put it back. So on the Christmas tree and the angel, it's the second layer, the middle layer, that's red. But of course you can change it to whatever size you want. And then the very bottom layer is silver. I'm turning this into quite a long video for such a simple craft, but I figured it would be helpful to see a little bit more information about the resizing, seeing as that was something that I definitely struggled with when I was making these. Okay, so that's everything back, and I'm going to go 4.25, I think. Okay, so this would now be ready to cut if you want to make just single-sided decorations. But if you want to make double-sided, drag a box around all of them to select them, and then we'll group them all together by pressing the group button underneath, and then duplicate it by pressing the duplicate button. And then with the duplicated version, we want to flip it so that they're all mirror images of the other. The reason we need to make them mirror images is so that when they're stuck back to back with the other ones, they'll all line up perfectly. Some of them are symmetrical anyway, but the stocking isn't. So we just need to make sure that once it's flipped onto the back, it will still go together. So to do that, it is, I believe, this one, flip vertical. No, this one, flip horizontal. So it's the two triangles that are sort of stood up next to each other along the top bar. I'll click that, and you see it's flipped everything round. So now the stocking is facing the other direction to the original. And this would then finally be ready for me to cut out. So I would cut this from glitter card because I think that just adds that extra festive little bit of sparkle. If you don't have glitter card, that's absolutely fine. Regular solid cardstock will look really lovely too. If you are using glitter cardstock, then the setting I find works the best on my Explore Air 3, my Maker and my Maker 3 is the craft board setting, and that's craft with a K. That's quite a strong cut setting. It goes down quite a long way into the material, which is perfect for something really thick like glitter cardstock. You might need to do a little bit of testing with your particular machine and your cardstock to see what works well for you. It will take a fair little while to cut because of all those teeny tiny pictures, so bear with it. And what is really nice is if you keep all of the little cutouts of all the shapes, then especially if you use glitter cardstock, it means you've got some ready-made confetti to go on your dining table for Christmas Day to make it look that little bit extra Christmassy. Or you could put it inside a shaker card, or perhaps just in the envelope of a greetings card if you're giving it to someone, so that when they take the card out, they get whooshed up with all of these little pretty glittery pictures. Here are 4 of my decorations all cut out, and I've already stuck these ones together, but I'll show you how to do it for the star in a moment. But I just wanted to remind you that the ones I've got are a little bit big really, and all at kind of funny sizes because I cut them all at the same size, the same height each, rather than modifying them to suit each design. So remember at the start I was saying my bauble ended up way too big compared to other things. This is kind of what I mean. This is huge. It's almost the size as my whole hand. So if you cut yours at the exact size the SVG loads in on, they'll actually be this size. And to compare it, that's the difference between what you'll get in the SVG file and what I cut mine at. And I think this is a much nicer size, but I'd already committed at the point I realised these were going to be too big. So I didn't want to go into any more glitter card than I had to, because that is expensive. So the angel will be slightly smaller than what you see here if you cut it at the same size as me. The tree is the same because actually this was a really nice size. I liked how this one came out. And then we've got the stocking, which yours will cut just ever so slightly smaller. And the star, which you'll see me make in a minute, again, yours will be just that little bit smaller. But I always say it's better that I make the mistakes so that you don't have to. And I love how these turned out. They are so sturdy because each one is 6 sheets of card all glued together. So it's going to hang really nicely under the weight of itself. And I've got some ribbon in the top. But I'll show you all of that in a minute. And I have got 3 colours in here. I'm not sure you can quite see on the camera, but there is a white, a silver, and a red. Probably will show it better on these ones. So that's the same colours that I've got in these. But you can see the silver more on them. All right, so easiest tutorial ever on how to put these together is you just glue the bits one on top of the other in the correct order. That's it, really easy. The glue I'm using is Barely Art glue, but I also like Collal. The reason I like these glues is they don't bend or wrinkle the card like some glues can do. And it really is just as easy as starting with the filled in one. And then it's the next size one, which is the silver one. Pretty sure it's the silver one on all of them, but just you can check in Design Space if you're not sure, or just lay the pieces on top of each other to get the orders. The reason the Barely Art glue is nice is because it comes with a really thin tip, helpful for getting around all these pictures. And all the bits line up exactly one on top of the other. Try and get it as neat as you can along those edges. Wiggle it about while your glue is drying so it's super neat. And then your third bit goes on top. And this red, as you might be able to see, sheds a lot of glitter. I cut these out yesterday and I stuck all the other ones together, and you know, I've had a shower since then, I've done the washing up, I've done some cleaning, you know, lots of water on my hands is what I'm trying to say. And I was still covered in glitter, even before I even picked these up again to record the video. And my Cricut's covered in glitter, and my mat has glitter on it, even though none of the glitter was technically touching the mat. And my desk has got glitter on it, and my brayer tool has got glitter on it. And I think I am just committed now to having red glitter everywhere for the rest of time. The silver and the white don't shed. Oh, can you see? I'm covered in red glitter. Oh well. Alright, so this is the one for the other side. I've already glued these bits together, so then we just need to glue them back to back. adding quite a bit of glue on here because it needs to be strong to hold all these bits of glitter card together. And line it up. You might find that adding some paper clips or bulldog clips around the edge of these as they dry will help hold them together and create a bit of a better stick. But if you do it, just make sure it's not going to mark your cardstock if it's really, really firmly on there. I'm just going to keep pushing it and getting myself covered in even more glitter. I'm going to have to do some serious cleanup before I make the next project. Otherwise, whatever I do next is also going to be covered in red glitter. In fact, probably every other project I make for the next, what do you reckon, month? You'll be watching the videos and thinking, yep, there's some more glitter showing. Okay, there's that one. The final thing to do is to add some ribbon in the top. There are loads of ways you can do this, and I'm sure you can do it much prettier than me, but my nemesis, funnily enough, is not actually glitter. My crafting nemesis is ribbon. Specifically tying ribbon into bows and making it look nice. I just can't do it. I've tried so many times and it's beyond me. I mean, I even struggle doing up my shoelaces, so pretty ribbon is probably not ever going to be something I excel at. But what I've done for these ones, in an attempt to make them kind of pretty, is I've got my ribbon and this has just popped off and it's no longer in alignment. And the glue has now properly dried. I gave up on it too early. Alright, what I did was I folded it in half, thread it through the hole, and then pull through. Then you've got a little loop. Pull the tails through and pull it tight. And that will hold it nicely onto the top of the ring. And you can tie a nice bow, unless you're me, in which case I just looped it over and tied it again. No, go through. You can see my struggle. Okay, pull that through and then pull it tight. This bit of ribbon wasn't actually that long because I've used it all on my other ones. So this will have to go on quite a small tree branch, but it'll be fine. And then snip a bit neater. And there it is. Okay, so not quite as straightforward as I had thought once you take into account all the sizing and things, but hopefully I've shown you a nice easy way so that you can do it a lot more straightforward than I did. But overall, I'm really happy with how these turned out. The glitter is beautiful, which is just as well because I'll be finding it forever, and I can't wait to see what these look like on my tree. I hope you enjoyed this video on how to make these super sparkly folk art inspired Christmas tree decorations with your Cricut machine. If you did, please give the video a thumbs up and subscribe to my YouTube channel for loads more Cricut crafts and free SVGs. Let me know in the comments, will you be going super sparkly like me or paring things down with some solid coloured cardstock? I hope to see you again tomorrow for day 17 of the Christmas Craft Countdown, but for now, thank you so much for watching. Bye!